Okay, Bills Mafia. It's the NFL Aficionado Fiend here, doing a recap of the game yesterday. Panthers Bills. Wanted to wait until the big news came out. Again, as everybody knows, our standout defensive tackle, who was on it, who in every game he's played this year has been an absolute terror. Basically, went out and right before halftime, immediately ruled out with a bicep injury. Of course, we're talking about Big Ed Oliver. Of course, I don't know who watched the game, but if you saw him at the end of the game, he was in street clothes. You could see him with a jacket over him. His arm was clearly in a sling. Biceps injuries quickly ruled out. Usually is not good news. I almost immediately knew he tore his bicep and was going to be out for the rest of the year. I know the Bills are talking, hey, he's out indefinitely. I did some quick research after I heard it before I made the video. Best case scenario is 12 weeks to come back. If you look at that time frame, we won't see him till the divisional round of the playoffs, if not later. And to be honest, guys, I don't see how a guy comes back after a biceps tear and comes back and plays meaningful snaps in a divisional game, a conference championship. I just don't see it happening. So unfortunately, I know they have high hopes for Ed Oliver. But as we saw last year with Milano, it took him a couple games to get going before and he injured his stuff in the preseason. And so I love Ed. Was definitely hoping he was going to make a comeback from the year that he had last year. He was off to a great start. In fact, in the 3 games he's played, he's got 3 sacks. He looked absolutely awesome. He was the reason we won the Ravens game by causing that fumble on Derrick Henry. He looked, was the guy stepped on in practice, had to miss the next 3 games. Definitely was looking like he was playing better. Wasn't quite right, and then yesterday looked really good. Had a big sack in the Atlanta game. Had a sack yesterday, unfortunately, but yeah. So we will be out without Ed Oliver for the rest of the season. But hey, guys, step up. Deion Walker has absolute great. Maybe now he slides more into his natural position of being a one technique. Hopefully Daquan Jones can come back a 3 technique. Hopefully Daquan Jones can get healthy enough. Really makes me nervous with a calf injury. You're talking the Achilles, you're talking the calf. But hey, Jordan Phillips, Larry Obajunu, and maybe TJ Sanders comes back off the IR. He's got another 2 games he's got to go. So really liked what we had in our defensive line yesterday with Ed. We were really getting after the quarterback, but yeah. So, anyways, it did not look. Unfortunately, losing Ed is a big piece of our defensive line. You just don't replace all pro caliber players like that. I know Ed probably not all pro, being with all the defensive tackles in the league, but yeah. So, anyways, all right. So that's out the way. Ed Oliver, torn bicep, has surgery, out indefinitely. But let's be real, guys. At best case scenario, we would see him to the divisional round of the playoffs. And again, I just don't think you can come in after being off for 3 months with a torn bicep. You can't exercise, you can't build it, you can't do anything that you need to do. And so basically, I don't see him playing meaningful snaps. Realistically, if we were to make it to the Super Bowl, that's the first game I would expect to see Ed Oliver back versus divisional round conference championship if we get that lucky. Hopefully we don't play in the wild card, but yeah, because I did the math count. Like week 11 would be our week 17, and then you got the wild card round, divisional round. So week 13 would be the divisional round. So that would be the earliest you could actually see him. So, anyways, yeah. So disappointing news there. So, anyways, that being said, we're just going to lead with negative stuff, and then we're going to go into the positive stuff. So, basically. Negatives. Josh Allen does not look right this year. I don't know what happened between last year and this year, but he does not look like he's studying game film. He doesn't look like he's prepared for these games. It's almost like he believes his talent will elevate the team, and then basically, hey, I'm going to do okay. He did have a decent game yesterday. He was 12 of 19, but he took 2 terrible sacks. And then he had that one where the offensive line just let a free runner come straight at him and bust him. And then he took another one where He was just running around all over the place. Again, I don't watch the All 22, but off the TV version, it looked like he had some check down stuff, and he's just not doing that this year. He's not taking the easy throws and letting people make plays. He's trying to go deep. He's trying to play hero ball. He's trying to scramble around, and it just ain't working this year. I mean, I really, it just looks like Josh isn't studying film. It looks like he basically got that MVP last year and was like, "Hey, I've arrived," and and I don't know, and it really. I didn't think too much of it when I heard him say that, hey, he's more than a football player. No, bro, you're in this position because you are a pro football player. So glad you got your money, glad you got your wife, glad you got your Hollywood deal. But to me, it just looks like he's not studying game tape. He's not taking the check downs. He's trying to play hero ball. He's slowly evolving back into what we hadn't seen in a while. Basically got put away last year. And, I think yesterday, basically, that game was a tight game until James Cook broke that 64-yard run for a touchdown. We were running the ball, but when Josh had to make throws, he wasn't making the throws he needed to make. He was trying to go down the field again, trying to heave the deep ball down the field. He even got lucky because basically he threw for 164 yards, 163 yards. 54 of that came on basically what was a 10-yard pass where Khalil Shakir did all the running and got a 54-yard touchdown. So 10 yards of pass and then 44 yards of juking and jiving yak yards, which that's not going to work every single week. So I don't know what we're going to do. Honestly, at this point, Bean, give up the first, give up the second. Brian Thomas, he's the hottest name out there right now. Chris Olave, whatever you got to do to go get us a number one receiver to try to help Josh out, because Keon Coleman ain't cutting it. Sorry, I didn't even really see him touch the ball until the game was over and Mitch Trubisky came in the game, and then I think he had 3 cheap catches at the end of the game. Palmer, I think he needs to start being more involved in the offense, but again, week to week, don't know. And again, I don't see Palmer as a number one. I see him as a good number 2. Maybe a number 3, but as far as it goes right now, I'm not going to say Keon Coleman is a bust, but he ain't the alpha receiver that we all thought was going to happen back in training camp. Which, oh my gosh, the rave reviews of Keon Coleman, but I think it's just because our cornerbacks were so bad that he was making that anybody looks good against our cornerbacks. I can't tell you how many times I was tired of seeing Andy Dalton throw the outbreaking routes, and I mean every single time they were just there. As long as he dropped it in the bucket, it was wide open for him to get. We're just not covering anybody. But yeah, so Josh is not Josh this year. The passing game is atrocious. We are not going to beat Kansas City next week if Josh does the same passing game this week, unless James Cook does what he did again and he goes for another 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. And even then, that makes me nervous, because if you're watching the Chiefs now, the past 2 weeks, and watching tonight, they're literally going down the field in 14, 15-play drives, chewing up the clock, protecting their defense. So if Cook breaks a couple for a huge run, and then you allow Mahomes to possess the ball for 9 minutes as he drives down the field, there's only so many limited possessions you're going to get. So again, I even looked at it. The receivers were only targeted 15 times in this game. Josh only threw, like I said, 17 passes. Trubisky had four deals. The running backs were not targeted but one time in this game. I don't understand the resistance to targeting running backs and getting James Cook the ball in open field. Even Ray Davis, he was the one guy that had 1 catch. Ty Johnson is pretty much obsolete this year. One of the big things that we had this year was the strength of our running back team between James Cook, Ray Davis, and Ty Johnson as a third down back. I don't know what happened to Ty. I don't know what happened to Ray. But the only running back we have on our team is worth anything right now is James Cook. So we will not survive. We will not beat elite teams when we're only throwing the ball 17 times and we're struggling to get yardage in the passing game. So Brady, back to the drawing board. Do something about it. I even saw something today where, hey, what's the hindrance from lining up James Cook on the outside as a wide receiver and having Ty Johnson as the third down back? I truly believe that James Cook has to be your third best pass catching option on this team. Same with Dalton Kincaid. It just seems like we're not scheming guys open. We just line them up and say, go beat coverage, and we just don't have the horses to do it. That's not what we are. We need to scheme, get people open, things like that, and Josh has to start taking the check downs. He threw a couple balls yesterday that, I mean, and two, again, I don't know if he's injured, he's hurt, whatever, but he missed some wide open receivers yesterday. I mean, so just like, what were you doing? Again, it looks great at the end of the day, 40-9. Hey man, you blew him out, you ran him over, you covered the spread, which I didn't think we were going to do. But I'll tell you what, watching until Cook broke that one run, I was very nervous because we were starting to fall into that trap of playing the perfect Carolina game, which is keep it close, run the ball, keep things going, and things like that. So that being said, so the two big negatives yesterday that I really had to hype on is we lost Ed Oliver injury, terrible, but that's just a bad break for us. And then the passing game still just doesn't. It barely resembles passing for college offense, let alone professional football. So I don't know what has happened, but I'm starting to blame Josh for this. He doesn't look prepared. He doesn't look like he's ready for games. He's missing line assignments. He's missing. He's just running around in the backfield trying to make a play. Just take the check downs, take the easy cheese. And sustain those drives, and then go for it when it's there, when you need it. But I'm still back to my sneaky suspicion that basically, I saw a stat the other day where Josh from like 20 to 23 was like third with touchdowns over 20 yards in the air, and since 2023 he's had one. And Diggs was not a burner, and yeah, we have Gabe, but they weren't burners, man. But I really starting to believe that all UCL injury he had back in 2022 against the Jets, and he played through it. But I really think that has affected his accuracy on the deep balls. The more and more I watch him play, the more and more I believe in this, because he just doesn't look right throwing the ball deep. And even yesterday, man, a couple of those balls he threw into the dirt. Like, what are you doing, dude? So, anyways, those are my two big negatives. Was the passing game is atrocious. We've got to do better. Bean, So, anyways, and then Ed Oliver getting hurt. Now to the positives. Man, what James Cook. Let him cook. I swear, I was one of the Bills fans who, hey, man, James Cook is good, but he's not great. He don't need to be making top-end money. He doesn't need $15 million a year. Hey, be happy with 10, and if you don't like it, man, get rid of him. Boy, I am so glad that we did not decide to do that, because without James Cook, we wouldn't have an offense this year. But Cook was cooking. Every time he touched the ball, he was getting positive yardage. He was doing things. He almost broke another long run that he got like shoestring tackled on before he got away. But yeah, and then that 21-yarder to cap it off at the end of the game that put him up well over 200 yards or over, close to 200 yards, whatever. So absolutely looking fantastic. In fact, like I said, the only guy that has earned his extension this offseason was that earned it is James Cook. Greg Rousseau, Josh Allen, you didn't even earn your extension, okay, buddy? And then Terrell Bernard, nope. Khalil Shakir, nope. He did have 6 catches for 88 yards yesterday, so he's the one positive in the receiving room, but we kind of knew what he was when we signed him. But even he's kind of down, but I don't think Shakir's down because of him. I think it's because of, again, Josh Allen. But anyway, so Cook was cooking all day long. If you know those guys, I'm actually probably going to end up going to buy the man's jersey. I bought the T-shirt jersey because I wasn't sold that he was going to be with the Bills long term. But basically, I bought the T-shirt jersey, and the man has absolutely been cooking. So my next two buys of jerseys are going to be James Cook and then that big defensive tackle we drafted in the 4th round this year. Basically, the running game was going. The offensive line was pounding it. I mean, basically, we were getting it done. I was worried about the Carolina defense. I forget exactly where they were in the deal. I brought it up. They were, they were 8th against the run, averaging, giving up 92 yards a game, and the Bills busted them for 245, which was pretty amazing. So, not too shabby on that. The other positives I have about the game are the defense for still missing Milano, Bernard, Rapp being out, unfortunately, Ed Oliver. The game was pretty much over by the time Ed went out of the game. But basically, the defense looked really good. We got 7 sacks yesterday. We forced 3 turnovers. Michael Hawk, I didn't realize that dude was as big as he is. He's listed 6'4", 310. I had to double check that on ESPN just to see it. So, I mean, that dude's a big dude. But him and Ogunjobi seem to come, with him, Oliver, and Ogunjobi kind of coming together with that line. Our defensive line looked immaculately better than what we've been putting on the field. It looked good. We were getting after the quarterback. We were getting pressure on the quarterback. We were causing issues. So I really liked what we were doing with the defense, with those guys being back. I'm hoping maybe through this patch we can slide Hoyt inside, let him play a little D tackle on passing downs, things like that, and keep the guys on the outside. AJ Epinesa again, has been doing well. I think him sliding more down looked really well. Rousseau finally showed up yesterday. He looked good. And then Bosa, for all the things people say about I've been very happy with the Bosa signing this year. Again, he wasn't meant to come in and be a starting, play all the snaps, defensive end. We know what he is. We need him on a pitch count. We need him to close games. And the dude is getting sacks. I think he's got 4 sacks already this year. So I don't have any complaints about Joey Bosa. I think it's more that, hey, we're starting to overuse him and not use him properly. But now that Hoyt's back, Ogunjobi's back, really hoping TJ Sanders can come back from his deal. Jordan Phillips, man, can he put together like a season like he did a few years ago and just fill in for what's his name? And then hopefully Daquan can come back. So really like Shaq Thompson on the field. He seems to be a steadying presence in the deal. So I really hope that even when Milano and Bernard come back, they figure out a way to keep Shaq Thompson on the field. Again, he's been our best linebacker this year, which is pretty sad to say. Dorian Williams was looking a little bit better, but I think having Shaq there help him out a little bit, was helping his presence a little bit. And then the other thing too, Maxwell Hairston, for first time on the field, hasn't played, been on IR all year, injured. I absolutely love what I saw of the kid. He had a big pop in the deal. He wasn't getting killed in coverage. In fact, I don't really remember him getting beat in coverage anytime I saw it. Really, the guys that were getting beat were Benford and then Tre'Davious White when they were kind of swapping those guys out. The other thing, too, I want to give a shout-out to, I was a little nervous about this when they did it, but I think Jordan Poyer coming into that team and playing a coaching select role on that defense was dramatically different. They kind of had someone who could coach the defense on the field, knew what McDermott wanted. And then the other thing, too, is when it was clearly passing downs and things like that, Jordan Hancock got some play time at free safety. Cole Bishop was over the strong safety deal. I definitely think that helped them out big time. I know when it was Poyer and Bishop on the field, you saw Bishop go to free safety and Poyer play strong safety. You can't argue with that. Poyer is not the athlete he used to be, but I think Poyer has a role in this team where he's at, and I could even see Poyer doing that third safety deal, like when we go to dime, Poyer being a third safety there, give a little bit more beef there. But absolutely love what I saw from Jordan Hancock. He was instinctive. He's the guy that caught Rico Dow, saved that touchdown run, which would have put the Carolina Panthers up. Very next play, Rousseau causes the fumble to Andy Dalton. We get the ball. So absolutely love what I saw out of Hancock. Love what I saw out of Harrison yesterday. Deion Walker continues to impress. To me, he's clearly by far our best pick this year so far. Now again, Harrison may change the mind as he gets dealing because that kid can play. He wants to play. And then I really want Dorian Strong to come back. So I really feel good about where we're headed if Strong can come back, if TJ Sanders can come back, and those guys can do. I really like Strong. I really like Harrison. I think that gives us good depth. Hancock playing now. I'm sorry, but I'm kind of over Taylor Rapp until he gets healthy. And even then, hey man, I don't know if he is. To me right now, leave Hancock. I'd rather play the rookies and let them do their deal and get growing pains. So when the playoffs come and it means something, regular season, I'd love to get the number 1 seed. But guys, I think we can win. I think with our running game, we can win anywhere. So basically, I want the rookies to play to get that experience, get the bad heebie-jeebies out. So anyway, loved what I saw from the defense yesterday. Now, do have a little concern. Now it was kind of more towards the end of the game and stuff like that. But the Carolina Panthers did get almost 115 yards rushing. They were averaging a little over 4 yards a carry, Wish I hadn't seen that, but I know basically the game was over in the third quarter, and so in the fourth quarter it was pretty much our backups and things like that. They even made a comment about like when Spencer Brown was in the game, because we didn't have any more offensive linemen to substitute people out. Whatever side Spencer Brown was lined up on, we ran to the opposite side just so we didn't try to put any extra wear and tear on Spencer Brown in the deal. So anyways, but yeah, so all right, so that's my positives. Running game was absolutely cooking, and the defense looked way better. And then two, I know yesterday basically it's come up that now Sean McDermott is helping Bobby Babbitt call plays on defense. He's getting involved in calling plays, which is what I think is absolutely needed. I'm not ready to write off Bobby Babbitt yet, but he was just getting cooked as a defensive coordinator calling plays. Maybe he can scheme, maybe he can do all that other stuff, but man, McDermott, you could kind of tell McDermott was influenced in that. And I've seen a couple times just in watching the game where he was talking with the sheet over his mouth, and I said, I wonder if he's calling the defensive plays, dude, because it damn sure looks like it to me. And lo and behold, yeah, and they're trying to say, oh, me and Babbage are doing it collectively. Sorry, I truly believe McDermott is basically listening to the call, and if he doesn't like it, he's overriding and saying, nope, this is the defensive call we're going to do. Or Babbage is relaying it to him, or McDermott's telling Babbage, hey, you're going to call this play, and they go with it. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely love that. Prater did okay. Special teams looked decent. We did miss the one extra point, so again, that'll come back to haunt you when you play the big boys. But 4 or 5 in extra points, 2 for 2 in field goals. Both of them were decent long field goals, so good to go on that. So yeah, so positive, like I said, the running game was cooking. We got back to feeding the ball to Cook. He had an early day, so that was nice. And then the defense, night and day difference from what we saw the first 6 weeks of the season versus what we saw last night or yesterday against the deal. They got the turnovers, they got after them. It wasn't a free for all. So I definitely think that with the reinforcements coming in as we get more back, we'll be good there. So anyways, all right, now let's talk about, basically that's my deal about the spiel. Hey, great job. We're sitting at 5-2, still looking up at the Patriots in the division because they hold the tiebreaker over us. And guys, I'll be honest, I saw their schedule for the next whatever. They're going to stack wins. I truly believe when we go play them in New England, that may be for the AFC East the AFC East division title, because they're just going to stack wins. Variables got them rolling. Unless something happens, an injury, something goes on, I don't see those boys falling off anytime soon. That being said, I definitely think, look, I read some things about our cap, and basically we're maxed out next year because we re-signed everybody this year. But I think they said we've got like 46 people signed to the roster. I mean, we have one of the largest, our whole team is pretty much coming back this year. We're all under contract. So, even though, hey, like they said, some teams are, hey, they've got $100 million on the books next year for the cap. They've only got 25 players signed to the roster, so they got to fill out the roster spots. It's not like they actually have $100 million to go buy free agents and buy the best of the team. So that being said, if we're going to push for this year, Bean needs to be making deals. He needs to go out and try to trade for defensive tackle. He definitely needs to go out and get a wide receiver. And I'm sorry, but I'd be saying give up a second and give up this second and next year's third or this year's second, and then give up a third to go out and get Brian Thomas or one of these high-end, top-end names on the wide receiver market that's out there. I'm not really worried about cornerback help because I think if Strong can come back and Harrison can play, I like Benford, Harrison, and Strong. I like Teron Johnson, Cam Lewis, Hancock getting on the field. I'm okay with that. Let DeMar, hey, man, you were a great story, but sit on the deal. Or let Taylor Rapp get completely healthy before he tries to come back and play. We got to keep Bishop on the field. We got to know what we got with him. We invested a second-round pick. Don't be monkeying around with that. Jordan Porter's coming in and giving you solid snaps for the role he's playing. Teams are going to try to pick on him and see when he's on the field, but I think that's something we can get by with. But Brandon Beane definitely needs to be aggressive this year with draft picks and go out and get some people. We don't need to draft another 10 people and basically can't roster half of them because we don't know what we have. That's just not got to happen. So, anyways, that being said, basically yesterday's blowout win did not move the needle for me. I expected to win. We got the win, but I really needed to see that the passing game show up in the deal because I already know, I can already guarantee you what Spagnuolo's going to do next week at Kansas City. We're getting a little bit of a preview now, but basically Spags is going to shut Cook out of the game and say, you guys are going to have to beat us throwing the ball. You ain't going to run for 200 yards on us. We're going to run blitz you to death because we don't think you got the people. And I'll be honest, Spags has had Josh's number, with his deal. With the way he's playing this year, man, I'm truly worried about next week's game. And I think tonight Kansas City is going to absolutely beat the brakes off the Commanders and be rolling into Buffalo next week. If you guys thought you left early at the Baltimore game, you might be leaving earlier in this game because I think Kansas City's on a mission this year. They've got their players and stuff like that. So I'm hoping Brandon McDermott, if you're listening, man, go out, deal them draft picks. Let's get them. Let's get the offense, some wide receivers, some people that can get open, and then Brady start scheming to go to the running backs. I don't know what this resistance is to throwing to the running backs. Is it just Josh not deciding to throw to the running backs? Please, somebody help me understand this. Okay, guys. So, I was going to go into some stats and stuff like that, but basically I think I've said enough about the game. Again, hey, happy Victory Monday. We blew out the deal. The defense looked good. We got 3 turnovers, 7 sacks. James Cook had a career day, all that being said. But, guys, end of the day, I'm still nervous about this team. Do I think we can go in and win a wild card game? Absolutely. Do I think we can win a divisional round game? Absolutely. Are we beating the Chiefs in Kansas City? No. Are we winning the Super Bowl? No. I don't see us. And I'll be honest, right now, to me, the 2 best teams in the league are Indianapolis and Kansas City. Those are the top dogs right now. Eagles, whatever. They can continue to do their thing. But, yeah. So, anyways, okay, guys. That's my recap video. Again, great win. Happy Victory Monday for all us Bills fans out here. It's nice to get a blowout win finally, and kind of relax. And I know it was nice to sit in the fourth quarter and just, hey, man, no cardiac arrest. But end of the day, guys, the performance that Josh Allen in that passing game did gave me no confidence. My on a scale of 1 to 10, my confidence is still at a 4. Because again, guys, we're not playing for division titles. We're not playing for we made the playoffs. We're playing for that thing at the end of the year that everybody wants, and I just don't see right now with the way our passing offense is, how we're going to get past the bigger teams, the better teams in the NFL. So anyways, okay. So all right, Bills fans, happy Victory Monday. I know it took a little bit longer to get the video out, but I really wanted to hear about Ed Oliver. In my gut when I saw it, I knew bad news. But anyways, hopefully McDermott can work his magic, and do what he needs to do. So anyways, back to the deal. Bills Mafia, happy Victory Monday. Cook was cooking, so we all get to sleep easy until next Sunday at 3:25 when we kick off and we host our nemesis, the Kansas City Chiefs. So as always, Bills Mafia, do good, be good, go Bills.